Back to the TD podcast. We are your hosts, Tony and Dak, and in today's episode, we are going to be breaking down and a little bit of a recap from our Week 13 games, as well as getting into a little bit of the hedges for Week 14 matchups. The two matchups that we choose, that is. We will not be breaking down or getting into all the games, but just the
We
two.
don't have enough time for that.
Don't have the time, don't have the energy, all that fun stuff. But there's methods to our madness. We want to be more concise. We want to make sure we're actually giving you guys real input, not just looking at the box score and throwing mud at a wall and seeing what sticks. So that is why we do what we do here on the TD podcasts. And kicking off this episode, we have our first and 10. Typically, we will have a headlines, injuries report, and then a couple questions to kick off the episode. We didn't have much time today, and basically everybody's injured, so we skipped the injury part, and we're just going to get into the headlines and questions.
Yeah, so some of the headlines, there were eight upsets of a lower ranked team beating a high ranked team. And that kind of was all like looked at. I don't want to say overlooked at, but not just looked at, but the Panthers beat, which was who everyone thought was a Super Bowl favorite in the Rams. So that was a crazy upset. And the Giants took care, or the Patriots took care of the Giants as the Giants were trying to be that ninth team last night. But again, a lot of upsets this weekend. The Colts got beat as well, as I'm guessing is what you're going to be talking about a little later. Thanksgiving Day was a great day for some football, and the Bears took down the Eagles by a surprise on Black Friday, which again was another upset that no one really seen coming. So a lot of great football this weekend, including the college game too. There was great college game, rivalry weekend, just football, football, football. It was a great weekend.
I think I actually watched more college football this week than NFL. Oh, let me rephrase that. Like Thanksgiving Day to like Saturday, I watched more college football than NFL, which is weird. I didn't watch Black Friday game. I don't think I watched any of the Thanksgiving Day games. They were on, but I was doing homework. I was trying to catch up because Thursday is the last day of my semester, so got to get that out of here. But yeah, I did watch some Sunday football, which we will be getting to in a second after Dak's questions.
Boom. I'm gonna kick it
Boom.
off. Are the Patriots the Super Bowl favorite?
Are the Patriots the Super Bowl favorite?
Yeah. They've won what, 10 in a row?
I don't know how many they've won in a row.
10 in a row. 10 in a row. Started off the season 1-2. Now they're 11-2, I believe.
I don't know if that's because they're bye weeks this week, so they have played 13 games. And their first loss was to the Raiders that day. Do I think the Patriots are the favorite? No, just because they're young. Um, I like just about everything about the team. I'm not one of those guys that chooses Super Bowl favorites very often. It's a crapshoot, especially because it's still a little too early in the season. I would say because teams can get hot week 17 and week 18, and then it's all guns ablazing from there. So like we could see, do the Ravens still have a shot of making it?
Yeah, yeah. They
We
can
could
still
see
win the
the
division.
we could see Lamar Jackson kick it back and play like Lamar Jackson, and they become the favorites, or the Bills get their heads out of their butt and they become the favorites, or uh, freaking the Jags. Who knows? Maybe Trevor Lawrence will learn how to throw a football properly and just stay consistent. That's that's my view of it. I would love to say they are my favorite to win in terms of the team that I want to win. I've just enjoyed watching them for the little bit that I have. Um, and I enjoy Drake May. I have a nice little. Hold on, let's see if I can find it real quick. Go to your next question, and I'm gonna see if I can find this football card. And
My
then,
next question is it all lost hope for the Kansas City Chiefs?
I sure hope so. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of Pat Mahomes, his Kermit the Frog voice. I'm I don't like Travis Kelsey. Um, there it is. Look at that beauty right there. Sick, sick card. Anyways, um, yeah, I hope so. I don't like them. Like, I don't think there's a single player on the Chiefs that I enjoy watching, or like watching, or like seeing. I mean, Andy Reid, I can respect, but outside of him, there's nothing that I like about the Chiefs. Do I think it's the end of them? I think it's coming real soon, if it's not this year. I have seen Chiefs fans calling for Andy Reid to be fired too.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
You're telling
Pretty
me.
pretty bad.
Yeah. Was that your last question? I don't remember.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So now we'll get into our game breakdowns, recaps, all that fun stuff. I'll kick us off. So, for those of you that don't know, we go and preview a game last week, and then we will break it down this week. Last week, I mentioned that I was going to be watching the Texans versus Colts game. Excuse me, goodness gracious. My notes from that game were Daniel Jones does not look healthy. The Texans defense is still really good. Like, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. Once CJ Stroud gets himself figured out, one thing I did see a lot of is the Texans tearing the Colts apart in the intermediate. But if it was past 15, 20 yards, it was probably incomplete. CJ Stroud was not on with his deep ball on Sunday, and that could read for disaster and when it comes to the playoffs because you have to have those explosive plays. Um, but their run game was also efficient. They weren't anything crazy. They weren't going to win them the game per se, but they were definitely going to keep them in it. Um, while I'm talking about it, make sure. Let me be one of those guys and use the stats real quick. Have that real quick. I did. I don't know if I actually said it, but I did expect the Titans, not the Titans, the Texans to win this one. Um,
Yeah, you did.
yeah.
You had it.
So the Texans had 108 rushing yards on 34 attempts for 2 touchdowns. So they were definitely more than enough, more than efficient to keep them in the game. And then the Colts could not get Jonathan Taylor running the way he usually does, which was also interesting. He ended up with 21 attempts on 85 carries. So it's still over 4 yards a carry, but his longest was 33. So that obviously has a big old curve into it. But it was a good game to watch nonetheless. Ended with 20-16. Um, I foresee the Colts falling off. That's why I've never jumped on the train. Um, Granted, it's not the same I expected. I expected Daniel Jones to just start sucking. Yeah, he wasn't the best on Sunday, but he also has a broken leg, so I
Didn't
have to
look
cut him
like
some
he was
slack.
that bad. Like he still looked like a decent quarterback. But I mean that Texans defense is the best defense in the NFL. Like scoring defense wise, just like one of the best defenses. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't expecting much. The Colts have kind of struggled against really good defenses all year. So I wasn't necessarily expecting him to be, oh, the almighty Daniel Jones that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like he played decent. He put him in a situation to win the game. And there was things that didn't happen. Spencer Strader, or right? No, not Spencer
No, he
Strader.
got
Matt
hurt.
Badgley missed
Michael Badgley, yeah.
he missed a PAT and was actually cut today.
And then they
Because I
signed
guessing
Blake Groupie, who also sucks.
so I mean if the Colts make that PAT, then they're only down a field goal and they can kick a field goal and it's a different game. So this
Mm-hmm.
game was still pretty darn close
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Good game. I was right, so always makes me a little bit happier.
The game that I'm going to break down is the first game on Thanksgiving Day. I had the Lions winning this one fairly pretty well, and that was just not the case. I should have known the Lions struggle on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, there's a whole Family Guy meme of I forget who's down there with the Lions and telling them, "Hey, shouldn't you guys be losing a a football game on Thanksgiving Day, in Detroit or something. So I should have known. Um, but the Lions just looked like they were a step behind the whole entire game. Just there wasn't things that went their way. There was a timeout that shouldn't have been called. That there was a false start that should have been called as well. There was a touchdown that I didn't believe was a touchdown because I think the ball was still moving and didn't really have full control, kind of like the Ohio State game with Jeremiah Smith. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That should have been a touchback. But what kind of hurt the Lions was Amon-Ra St. Brown going out pretty early in the game. Jamison Williams did step up and have a pretty good game. But still, when your best receiver goes out, it's just going to be a whole different ball game, which was played. Um, who stepped up though for the Packers? Dontavian Wicks had a great game. He had 6 receptions for I believe 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. He stepped up in a big way. Jordan Love played like the Jordan Love we're kind of familiar with, and not just a guy that's chucking it up and going, "Hey, we're hoping for the best." Although he did have a few of those throws. His favorite target in Christian Watson is back, and that's kind of going to be a little safety blanket that Matthew Golden kind of was in the beginning of the year. Christian Watson's now back. Um, Jahmyr Gibbs couldn't really get going. He had 20 carries for 68 yards. I mean, yeah, that's a decent game, but that's not a Jahmyr Gibbs game that we're thinking should happen. And Josh Jacobs had 17 carries for 80 something yards. So he had a decent game, which was kind of weird that we're seeing the Packers run game better than the Detroit Lions. And all in all, though, great football game to start Thanksgiving Day. A one-score game. The Lions still had a chance, despite everything that was going on with them and what happened to them. But the Packers won the game, 31-24.
Yeah. Looking back at my last week's notes, I wanted to say that the Texans were going to win, but I ended up going with 24-21 Colts. I think in the episode I did say that I think the Texans are actually going to win. I just didn't have the nerve to say it.
Didn't
Yeah,
have the gonads to say it.
yeah, not that time. Um, Remind me, are we power rankings or are we going to our or breakdown in the next
Power rankings.
power rankings? That's what I thought. We don't make notes for this episode, so we'll roll with the punches here. Our power rankings, for those of you that don't know, new here, welcome. Glad you're here. We do our top 6 teams because 10 teams is just what everybody else does. TD, 6 points, top 6. That's what we do. Here are our rankings. We have our last week's rankings on the left side and our current this week's rankings on the right side. As you can see, I had some jumbling. This is actually the first time I'm seeing Dak's list as well. Ooh, I like the Texans up there. So I had the Patriots move up to number 1. They continue to blow out the teams that they're playing against. There was no, they're not the ones that are blowing them out. They might have blown it out, but so they did blow out the Giants, but that's not what I was thinking of. That'll be my 6th ranked team that I get to in a second. Um, yeah. So the Patriots haven't lost since
Week 2?
September 21st, week 3, to the
Three.
Steelers. Um, so in the last 3 weeks, they've won 27-14, 13-point deficit, 26-20, 6 points, and 33-15, 16. No, 7. What's that math?
33 to what?
33-15 is 18 points.
18.
Yep, I figured it out. 18 points. So they are also blowing out their teams. They're playing and continuing to beat the teams that they're playing against. Early in the season, everybody was talking about strength of schedule, this, that, and the other. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. If they were actually a powder puff schedule, I'd be more worried. But they're
Like the
winning.
Colts.
Well, there you go. I'd be more worried, but they're still winning and they're winning handedly. If it was like close games all the time, then I'd be more worried. The Seahawks blowout. they're just coming to fruition. They're a good balanced team, and if you've been watching since week one, I love a balanced team that can run, pass, and plays good defense, and they do all of it. I still don't love Sam Darnold, but I can get over that. The Rams are still up there. I know they dropped the ball to the Panthers, but it seems like
Panthers are a
every
good football
team.
team.
I don't know
Panthers
about
are a
that.
good football team.
I wouldn't say that. But it's bound to
I would.
happen. Broncos, I don't love them either, but their defense is really good at football. The Bills, this is just kind of a default. I still trust in Josh Allen. Their run game is so
Yeah.
good. Um, I expect their defense to pick it up when they need to the most. And then the Jags, this is the team that I meant was blowing everybody out. So the Jags, I feel like are being a little slept on because they're inconsistent and hard to track. But if you recall, early in this season, I said the Jags have been playing really good football, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. I don't know if I kicked that off on here or if I was talking about it with somebody in real life and then mentioned it here. But in the last 3 weeks, they are 3-0, winning 35-6, 27-24, and 25-3. That is the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Titans. Titans, sure, but the Cardinals and Chargers. Cardinals is different when they have Kyler Murray. That's Jacoby Brissett. Even before then, they lost the Texans by a touchdown, and then they beat the Raiders in OT. But it was a weird week. Again, people are sleeping on the Jags because Trevor Lawrence is a little weird. Um, but outside of Trevor Lawrence, you have Travis Etienne rushing for. That's not what I want. Wait, yeah, 843 yards, um, averaging 4.7 yards attempt. Brian Thomas Jr. He's having a down year. Parker Washington's right on his heels. He's only down by one
Kobe
yard.
Myers had a decent game this week too.
Jacoby Myers had both of his touchdowns last week. Both of his touchdowns? No, he had one touchdown last week.
I think he had one. I'm not
So
for
they
sure.
just have a lot of weapons that are going to be hard to cover when it comes to playoff time. And Trevor Lawrence, um, only throwing. No, that's where's that at? Passing. Here we go. Throwing 16 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. That's why I feel like they're getting a little slept on. It's just because of his inconsistency. But their defense is good. Their weapons are solid, and well above average. I would expect this team to be upset at least one team, depending on who their matchup is in the playoffs.
Yeah, so I like what you said there with the Bills. They're just kind of the default team that they're just there, and I really like. I agree with you with the Patriots. I'm not necessarily worried about them. I think they're the hottest team in football right now. Hopefully they can keep it going. I like Vrabel, like his style. It reminds me of a lot of the Indiana Hoosiers. And I think there's going to be a few guys off the Indiana Hoosiers football team that are going to get picked up by this Patriots team, just because of the style, the determination, and just like the slept on mindset that they're just going to have guys come here and work their tails off and play the right way and play in a system. And I think that's what the Patriots are doing, and I like it. The Rams, again, I think the Panthers are a decent football team. I think they can shake it up and possibly win the NFC South because of how bad it is. The Lions, I keep them at 3 because I trust them more than I trust the seat. Oh, at 4. Okay. I trust them more um, than I think. Uh, I the Seahawks at 3. I'm kind of wishy washy between there because I think both quarterbacks are eh. Um, I just think the Lions are still there on my list because of the simple fact that they were one timeout that shouldn't have been called away and one touchdown away from winning that game. Just because of the simple fact, again, like I said earlier, the touchdown that I believe should not have counted, and then the flag that should have counted was on a fourth down, where the Packers then went and scored another touchdown. That fourth down, there should have been a false start called instead of a timeout. That's going to back them up 5 yards, or is it 10? That's 5 for a false start. You're not going for it there on 4th and 7. You're kicking a field goal. So that's a big difference of a game. That is a 10-point swing there that I think were kind of didn't go in the Lions' favor. I still like them there. And the Texans, man, what they did to the Colts defensively, I really, really like and I really enjoyed. And I think they are a complete team. I think what they did to the 49ers, I think, is what they can possibly do to a lot of teams. Just control the game. I think they're going to get their run game going a little bit. I think CJ Stroud's not going to panic as much. I think with CJ Stroud, I think because of what his D line does to him every day in practice, he gets kind of panicky and he'll escape a clean pocket and he'll put his O line in a bad situation because he's escaping a clean pocket and getting hit. I think if he can stay and not panic as much in the pocket, I think they're going to be a decent team. And their defense is pretty good, and I think they're going to become a complete team and will probably win the AFC South.
Yeah, I think the AFC South is definitely a tighter race than we expected, and I can get behind it. I did notice that the Colts are off both of our lists for the first time in a long time.
They've
Um,
lost 3 out of 4, I
yeah,
believe.
let's fact check that because I'm not saying you're wrong, but
Steelers, they beat the
so
Falcons.
they lost to
Been on a
the
bye.
Texans, lost to the Chiefs, beat the Falcons, lost to the Steelers. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've lost three
yeah,
of the last four games. So
not great,
not
not
great,
great.
and they lost to all AFC teams, which is definitely not good.
After only losing to the Rams beginning of the year, just swamping through the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they were playing pretty much anybody that was there besides the Broncos, and the
They got
Broncos
the
just played really
Chargers
bad.
right after Rashawn Slater. No, not Rashawn Slater. After Joe Alt got hurt.
Joe Alt,
Yeah, and they
yeah.
killed him. And then the Chargers have rebalanced the ship. I can't think of the actual phrase, but
Marion Hampton was out too. He didn't play this week again.
no,
I
he's. I
think he's
think
going
he's
to be
coming back
cleared
next
back
week.
next week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think he was cleared. He's just not back yet, which is
not fully.
yeah,
Mind games is a lot
yeah. We want to
often
make sure he's
injuries.
fully healthy, especially if you're going into the playoffs.
Correct.
So now we have our previews into this week's games. I am once again previewing the Texans. This week they play the Chiefs. It is a huge game. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. I got to stop drinking pop. It is a huge game for the AFC in terms of playoff implications. The Texans are sitting at third in the AFC South and are 7-5, while the Chiefs are 6-6. So they're both neck and neck right there. The Texans are only one game behind the Jags and Colts, and they play each other this week. So that's also a big game. Um, but if the Chiefs want to make it the playoffs, they have to win this game. And further, well, because then they'll have a tiebreaker against the Texans, and if they have the same record, then that could be hugely beneficial. I don't understand how or I don't know off the top of my head how all of the tiebreakers and stuff go, but I know that having beat a team with the same record as you is
It's good.
heavily, yeah, really
It's
good.
good. It's
Um,
just good.
so getting down to the nitty gritty, I would like to see um, CJ Stroud get at least one explosive pass this week. Like I said earlier, he was really good in the intermediate. I would also like to see the run game continue to do well against
I also
a
like to say that the Colts secondary is probably a decent secondary. Although Sauce Gardner went out, I still think they're a decent secondary.
yeah.
Um, and the safeties for the Colts are pretty darn good. Cam Bynum is probably one of the top safeties in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL.
Yeah. Um, so I would just like to see the Texans offense play a more full game. If it wasn't for the running game, I don't know. This game might have gone the other way. As for the Chiefs, I want to see them lose. And from a non-biased perspective, um, I want to see two things. One, their run game do something, because Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns last week and they still lost to the Cowboys. Two, I find it very interesting that uh, the Cowboys' offense was able to overpower the Chiefs' defense because for a while that was their um, again rebalance when the offense wasn't bringing it around. Chris Jones and company were taking it back over, giving the ball back. They get it back squared
They're
away.
tranquil and company too.
Yeah, yeah. Now they don't have that. So with Nico Collins, Jalen Noel is on the field occasionally. He's not getting much reps, but Jaden Higgins and is it Brandon Cooks? It's not Brandon Cooks. Who's the other guy? Oh, my brain. He was hurt. Man. Players. Christian Kirk. That's the speedster.
Yeah.
With
He
Nico
just got
Collins.
released, didn't he?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, he had a decent game. Never mind. Never mind.
With Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel, they are not lacking for skill players. I'm interested to
No,
see how the Chiefs.
Higgins is stepping up a lot too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Chiefs secondary plays. There's a lot of talk of their corners, their young corners playing well, but I don't know.
Is L'Jarius Sneed? He's
He's
not
a
there
he's a
still,
Titan.
right? He's a Titan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then with the running backs of the Texans, I'd also like to see continue to do well.
Woody Marks is playing really well. We're not going to see probably Joe Mixon the rest of the year.
Mm-mm. But Nick
And Nick
Chubb's also
Chubb
had a
has
nice
got
little.
he's got a nice little pep in his step still,
Yeah,
which is good to see.
he's got the 1-2 punch going on. But fun fact, so Woody Marks' real name, first name is Joquavius. Joquavius Marks. So I might have butchered that, but I thought that was interesting.
Well,
My
you got a
prediction.
friend in me, Buzz.
That's stupid.
Just went right over your head.
No, I picked it up. I picked it up. My prediction of this game is the Texans win by 4 points. 24-20.
I like it. I
I
like
like
it. I like it.
I like it too.
Game that I'm previewing is another team that I previewed last week, and that is the Cowboys versus the Lions. Two teams that played on Thanksgiving Day. Two teams that are fighting for their playoff lives right now. A loss could really, really hurt them. Cowboys have won 3 in a row since the trade deadline. They have not lost, so maybe Jerry Jones did something there. I don't. We will see.
Quentin Williams has
But
been a dog.
they've been playing some great football, and the offense has been playing really, really well. Very explosive. George Pickens is he's he's playing
Him.
for that extension. He is playing for that extension, and CD Lamb is allowing George Pickens to have a great season. And Dak Prescott again is just playing really well. As I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott. But again, both teams playing for their playoff lives. If the Cowboys were to lose, I think it hurts them a lot more than as if the Lions were to lose. I think the Lions are in a position to where they're 7-5. They can 7-6 is okay because of that division. I know the Bears are in a great spot right now, but I don't expect the Bears to stay there. And the Packers, we don't necessarily know what team's going to be there. Now, for the Cowboys, I don't necessarily think that you can survive another loss, go to 6-1, and hope and pray that the Eagles don't figure it out. I don't necessarily know, but I don't necessarily think that either loss to either team is going to help. Honestly, I think whoever loses here is like their playoff chances have gone significantly down with a loss.
Yeah, I think a loss to the Cowboys hurts more, not in terms of playoffs, but in terms of the fact that they don't have their first pick anymore, first round pick. Um, so them trading that first rounder is just going to hurt ultimately so much more when these losses don't even equate to a higher overall pick in this year's draft. Um, Whereas the Lions are just playing for pride, no pun intended, um, and they just feel like they have to win based on their past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
With all that being said, we are now to our 2 minute warning. Those of you that don't know, our 2 minute warning is where we just dish out hot takes for the last 2 minutes of this episode, 2 or 5 minutes, um, where we each get 2 minutes, roll off hot takes. Per usual, I don't really have any. It's usually just Dak. Um, Sometimes I
Yeah.
have them. Most of the time, they're Raiders related, but I don't have anything for today.
Yeah, the only
So
thing I have this week are the Panthers are going to win the NFC South. The Texans are going to win the AFC South. The Rams are okay. They're still going to win the NFC West. The 49ers are going to make the playoffs ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, which
I don't think that's that
I
hot of
don't
a take.
necessarily know that's crazy to say or not, but the injuries that have taken place to the 49ers this year are insane, and yet they're still going to be in the playoffs. A testament, I think, to the ownership and the leadership of the Niners and
Kyle
how bad it is in
Shanahan.
Dallas. And the Vikings should draft a quarterback next year.
Hmm. That's yeah.
Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. Draft a quarterback next year.
They're on a 4-game losing streak.
Number 9 is not that good, guys. Not that good. And he was hurt this week, so
Again.
yeah. And you know who stepped in? I don't even know his name, but he
Max
pulled a Will
Brosmer.
Levis. Yeah. Well, he pulled a Will Levis.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We hope our recaps and breakdowns of these games gave you some further insight, and will give you some further insight. Wait, did you say who you thought was going to win your game?
Lions 27-23.
Lions 27-23, Texans 24-20. Keep those in mind for these over-unders.
4-point wins for both.
4-point wins, yeah, exactly. Back to the outro. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, let us know down below what you guys think, what games are you going to be watching. Hope you guys had a great holiday season, and we're back to the real life football. All that being said, see you guys in the next episode. Peace.